All right, hello everybody. So today we're going to be talking about boosting our immune system. So how about we just skip the flu season this year, feeling stressed out, burnt out, exhausted, and it's no wonder everyone seems to get sick. But I want you guys to know the truth. We don't get sick, you do sick. So, how big of a problem is this, right? So, the CDC says that 5 to 20% of Americans get the flu every single year. $10 billion in direct costs. And that's just in the US, right? That's countless billions lost in productivity, presenteeism, absenteeism. And do we really need these statistics to tell us that this is a bad thing? And let me ask you, do you think that we are a healthy nation or a sick nation? And what direction do you think we're heading in? Do you think we have a health crisis on our hands? Yes or no? How about you? Are you as healthy as you want to be? How about your family, your children? Do you want to get sick this year? Can you afford to get sick this year? I mean, look at this woman, right? She's exhausted. We already know she'd be congested, sniffling, nose dripping, coughing, sneezing, feverish, aching all over, and just generally miserable, right? So these are the symptoms of what most people call getting sick, but I'm going to challenge the way that you think about symptoms tonight, and I want to challenge the way that you think about sickness. And hopefully, if I do my job well, which I intend to, you will change the way that you look at your body, your health, and your life. So, the reason that I suggest this, and there are three reasons we have a health crisis on our hands, and this is one of them, right? People's understanding of health and symptoms. So I suggest the first reason that we have a health crisis is because people are operating with the wrong definition of health. So, what do you think? What does healthy mean to most people? I'm healthy when I what? Look good, feel good, right? Am I healthy because I don't have symptoms? I'll tell you this. This way of thinking is good for the drug companies, just not good for you. So let's talk about symptoms for a minute. I want to teach you guys how to speak body. So this is our health continuum, right? This was a massive study that has been done 3 times now. And I want you guys to look at where you fall on this continuum. So what direction are you heading? Towards health or away from it? And what velocity are you traveling towards health or away from it, right? Because we want to talk about momentum, right? Which is mass times velocity. And we want to understand your symptoms as body signals, as alarms, as a fire alarm, right? And learn how to speak body. So learn how to listen to your body and interpret those body signals to make better decisions that lead to better choices and better behaviors. So think about, what's your objective? Do you want to treat temporary symptoms, get that relief, or regain your health and function? So the way you think organizes behaviors and leads to those outcomes. So we've got to recognize that behaviors matter and that you absolutely influence your health outcomes. And that is a much better operating premise. It also restores your personal responsibility, your hope, and your influence on your future and your family's future health. So this takes us back to our 3 causes of our current health crisis, right? Number 2, just no personal responsibility for our health outcomes. So people today are taught that our health comes from our genes, how susceptible we are to germs, and bad luck, as opposed to bad behavior, thinking about the impact that this limiting and erroneous belief system has on our health. If you believe that your behaviors don't really matter and that you have no real influence over your health outcomes, if you believe that your health problems like obesity, diabetes, and heart disease are just run in your family, let me lovingly tell you that the real problem is that no one runs in your family, right? We've all heard that. Tonight, I want to take you back to your future. We're going to take back hope, and we're going to take back personal responsibility for our health and our family's health, right? So in order to have the health and life that you want, you must understand these symptoms or body signals, and symptoms are just the tip of the iceberg. And what happens when you just address the surface issues, right? Problems get bigger below the surface. The way you think about symptoms drives your choices, which drives your outcomes. So let's face it, we've all been taught that for every symptom, there is a pill or a drug that you can take to manage that symptom, not correct the problem. So now we have a drug culture, a huge percentage of the population trying to manage their sickness and not correct the problem. This is a very expensive game to play and it does not always end well. That's why we're going to be doing this series. Every month we address the most common health concerns of our people, and your family and your friends with our webinars. We'll be taking a totally different approach and I want to discuss cause and effect and tell you exactly what you need to do to address the root cause of these problems. And as opposed to taking drugs and covering up those signals and those alarms, because that's just getting us feeling better temporarily while our bodies get sicker. So getting sick, it is a part of health. And when we describe being sick, what comes to mind to you? For me, it's sniffles, sneezing, fever, vomiting, diarrhea, exhaustion, right? And when we break down each one of these, are we getting sick or getting well? You're fighting an infection, right? So are you fighting something or I've been doing sick? Talk about it differently. It's a health expression, right? So is your body smart or stupid? Your body is taking action and fighting. That's why we get sick. We see this in an example of a fever, right? Our temperature goes up to fight bacteria and viruses and infection. We get exhausted because our energy is being used elsewhere in our immune system instead of our muscles so that we can fight off. Now, our immune system is a very expensive energy system. That's why we're tired. It's why we need to listen to our bodies and rest. And you don't get sick, you do sick. You don't get healthy, you do healthy. And that's what tonight is all about. So your health is your bonfire. It is the source of your heat, your light, your energy, and everyone wants a bigger bonfire. The way you choose to eat is your fuel. The way you choose to move is your air. And the way you choose to think is your spark. And when these three elements come together, fuel, air, and spark, the natural consequence is fire. If any three of these are missing, there's no fire, right? So this is how we do health. Or we do sick, right? It's your choice. Your health experience is the cumulative effect of how you choose to eat, move, and think. And these choices over time have a compound effect. Just as it does with money, with wealth, compounding interest or compounding debt, increasing wealth or increasing debt. The longer you stay healthy, the healthier you get. The longer you stay sick, the sicker you get. So let's talk about these choices and how they impact your ability to fight infection and stay well. Let's look at building your immune system strength strategically. And remember, you don't get sick, you do sick. So let's talk about the doing healthy. So we're going to be taking the traffic-like approach here. So some of us have our to-do lists and some of us need a stop doing list, I think. And there are some things that we can reduce and slow down. It's not about perfection, just progression, right, guys? So let go of that perfection pursuit. It will definitely just stress you out. The number one reason people have a stressed out immune system is mental stress. What a downward spiral, okay? Stop toxic behaviors, and it's part of the equation. But there are some things that we must start doing to start boosting our immune systems and staying healthy this year. And let's break that down categorically for you. So these required nutrients, right? For you to be healthy, your cells must be healthy. Required vitamins and minerals for cells to function and battle infection. We need essential elements. So the natural state of the body is to express health. And if you're not expressing health, you're sick. It means that something is interfering with your natural expression of health. Interference is caused by these toxicities or deficiencies or both. Whole foods, so choosing real whole foods, unprocessed foods in a natural state. We'll jump into that more in a minute. And then minimizing that toxic food burden, right? So unnatural, chemically laden GMO foods that are toxic and tax your cells and immune system. We'll jump into those two shortly. So when we're talking about this bonfire correct diet style, eating to boost your immune system, unlimited vegetables, abundant lean natural meats, some fruit, nuts and seeds, limited starch and no sugar, and this paleo correct diet as part of an overall lifestyle. So I want you guys to think every time you eat, where are the plants, the fat, and the protein? So going through the do's, right? Doing non-starchy vegetables, fruits, meat, poultry, fish, free range fed eggs, natural fats, nuts and seeds, and water. The don'ts, right? So refined carbohydrates, oils, grains, sweeteners, vegetable oils, dairy products, soda, juice, alcohol, sugar, and immunity, right? So sugar suppresses your immune system. Glucose and vitamin C are nearly identical molecules. They have the same cell receptors. So cells have a higher affinity for sugar, and the brain runs on sugar. And sugar sugar then binds with these cells instead of vitamin C. But vitamin C is needed for the immune system to fight infection and to function. Then we can look at something like supplements. So why take supplements? The best diet style is insufficient in our modern world, unfortunately. So we see our foods coming out of depleted soils. We see toxic burdens. We see a really fast pace of life. People overusing things like caffeine to just get through the day. So what I'd recommend for wellness is omega-3s to reduce that chronic cellular inflammation, probiotics for that normal gut flora, whole food supplements like multivitamins and minerals, vitamin D and vitamin C for your immune strength, and especially iron for females as well. My favorite natural extra helpers, so not quite supplements, but definitely something that you can introduce into your diet. So colloidal silver, broad spectrum antimicrobials, helps healing wounds. Elderberry, so fighting foods and colds. Much faster recovery. Echinacea, so strengthens your immune system, especially effective with upper respiratory infections. Ginger to detoxify and provide an anti-inflammatory effect on the gut. And of course, ginseng there as well, so antibacterial and antiviral benefits with all of those. Now, let's consider our next thing, movement. Remember, doing healthy or doing sick depends on three things. So fuel, how you choose to eat; air, how you choose to move; and spark, how you choose to think. And here's what we know about movement. I just love this photo, is that it's a required nutrient. Your cells expect and require movement as much as they do water and oxygen. It requires stress. In fact, neurologically, it is a reset button from your fight or flight to your rest and repair parts of your nervous system, so the sympathetic and parasympathetic. But when you're fighting something or recovering from an illness, it is best to choose rest over movement. Remember, this is your battery, right? Your immune system is energetically expensive. So sometimes we need to redirect that healing for recovery and take the day off. But in regards to healing and immunity, the benefits of regular exercise are massive. It's a required nutrient. A lack of movement upsets normal cell function. Movement patterns and cycles drive normal hormonal cycles, so rest and sleep, baseline for social stress, and movement and exertion. So movement promotes normal, healthy circulation of blood as well as lymphatic flow. And the lymphatic system is the janitorial system of the body and is crucial to optimal immune system function. But again, if you are fighting something, rest. Take the day off, reserve that energy for the immune system, go to battle for you, listen to your body, rest, nap, sleep, recover. And so sleep, your best practice there, 7 to 8 hours, even more when you're fighting something off. Fasting, nap every day if that's possible, right? Back to our bonfire. We want our immune system to be burning bright. So how we choose to think, our spark, is absolutely critical. Your thought life and your thought patterns have a massive influence on your body chemistry and therefore your immune functions. Stressful thought patterns produce stress hormones and adapt physiology. So stress hormones put you in a fight or flight and downregulate your immune system. Remember, it's your battery at the end of the day that counts. Energy is directed away from the immune system and towards your musculoskeletal system so that you can run away. And when you're stressed, your body prepares to fight or flee from a threat outside your body. Think like a bear. And it innately decides to temporarily ignore the risk inside of the body like a virus or bacteria. So here's what we know to be true. Number one, your your healthy is normal. Number 2, your body is smart. Number 3, the nervous system is the master system, and it's the system that determines how you respond to and cope with stress. Your spine is your suit of armor, number 4. And number 5, your modern life is unnaturally stressful. So when we talk about rest and repair versus fight or flight, think of like a bear chasing you, right? So that stressor, that bear, triggers a stress response and stress hormones. And we have this adaptive physiology. We save our lives in the short term, but it shortens our lives in the long term. So we see our blood pressure increase with threat, whether the stress is real or perceived. We see a heart rate increases with threat. Same again, whether the stress is real or perceived. Muscle tone increases with threat, whether the stress is real or perceived. So even if it's just in your head, we see these changes. Digestion upsets. So it speeds initially and then it slows down. Sex drive down-regulates. Serotonin down-regulates. Sensory systems down-regulate. We see fear and anxiety increase with threat. Stress, whether it's real or perceived. Again, perceived means it's something you're thinking about. It's not there. It's not real. Your immune response is down-regulated. Your insulin sensitivity is down-regulated. Your blood sugar goes up. Your HDLs go up. So that's the bad type of cholesterol. Your HDLs get decreased. Your LDLs go up. Which helps you cope with stress, hormones, and repair. So we also see our clotting factors increase, and this can set up an individual for diabetes, heart disease, and heart attacks in the long term. So the 3 T's, right? These sources of stress: thoughts, toxins, and traumas. So macro traumas, these are the big things, those car accidents, sports injuries, slips and falls. These things are pretty obvious physical stresses, and they often cause pain and avert signs of damage. They can be serious for sure, but they can also cause something that may not be serious too. We also see, more likely for most of us, including our kids, micro traumas. So how many people feel like they're spending way too much time sitting in front of a screen? How about your family, your kids? How many people think this is probably unhealthy and in many ways, right? Let's talk about one serious way this is causing a problem for you and your family. Let's talk about micro traumas. And to understand this, we're just going to go through a brief anatomy lesson there. So your nervous system's the master system: brain, brainstem, spinal cord, nerves. This communication system for your body, this innate intelligence, it runs through your body. It keeps you healthy and healing. It's protected by bone. The skull is the helmet, and that protects your brain. The spinal column is the suit of armor that protects your spinal cord. And if it stays healthy, communication is optimal. Health is optimal. What happens when communication breaks down, though, in a company, in a factory, in a family? Communication is everything. And if you want a healthy body, then you need a healthy nervous system. And if you want a healthy nervous system, you need a healthy spine. And so macro traumas cause damage to the spine and connective tissues, these ligaments, muscles, tendons, and spinal joints. And the more significant, trauma creates nervous system stress and interference with that communication. This changes inflammation going to and from the body and the brain. Information going to and body from the brain, transferring with healthy function and healing, interfering with healthy function and healing. And this is a condition known as vertebral subluxation. It's what we look after as chiropractors. And here's what happens in subluxation, right? Joint misalignment, soft tissue damage, inflammation and nerve irritation, muscle spasm, lost inhibition, joint fixation, and elevated stress hormones. Subluxation causes nerve irritation and interference with your body's innate ability to heal and remain healthy. So how do you know if you have subluxation? We need our instrumentation, our motion palpation, our static palpation, posture, and of course, x-rays. And this is all something we use together with your body signals to determine the cause of that problem there. So we can correct the cause, not just treat the symptoms. How can we correct the cause and get back to health if we never find out the root of the problem? So recovery, Do this. We need to adjust for recovery, extra adjustments, breaking those bad habits, and those life extension exercises like your wall angels or your lower core exercises. So, what to do when you're already doing sick? This is the most important. Rest, no exercise, get as much sleep as possible, get extra adjustments, avoid stressful situations. No sugar. I know the chocolate's tempting when we're not feeling well. Drinking water, simple, nutrient dense foods, broth, soups, vegetable based smoothies, supplementation like the ones we've spoken about today, vitamin C, probiotics, omega 3, vitamin D, iron, and most of all, give your body time, but take action. Thank you so much for listening tonight, guys. That was our Boost Your Immune System. I hope we all skip that flu season this year. Have an amazing rest of your night.